Good evening. This is Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Whis. Welcome to the staff meeting. Um, I am going to be playing Celeste Alamos today, and I am joined by a wonderfully talented, very clever, hilarious friend of mine. Have you met this person? She's an amazing DM, and she just kicked all of our butts with all this lore earlier today. Ta-da! It's Winona!
Yay! It's too early for compliments.
Love you at
I
all
love you
hours of
too.
the day.
Love you too. It's like look, it's technically not that early, but it's early enough on a weekend for me after a fun night cuz yesterday was my birthday and I had fun. Though I made sure to drink lots of water so I could do well tonight. But that's besides the point. Hello, I am Winona, and today I'll be playing multiple NPCs because the say Selli is angry and she needs answers.
Selli is distinctly angry and she has a mighty need for answers. This FPS flows on immediately from the second part of the Ink on the Clock Tower game, which was incredible and wonderful and had me cursing in the distance,
Which
which
we all could hear. We all could hear it. It
I
was fun.
yeah, I also got great entertainment about listening back to that. It's just this really distant fuck in the distance. But anyway, I digress. Um,
Look, the best thing you hear as a DM when things either click together and or things are confirmed and they're like, "Fuck, I was right."
yeah, it definitely can be like that. Um, so yes, so after everything started to calm down after the events of that game, Sally left the professor and Crystal and Detective Little and Stagehand to do whatever it is that they wanted to do with the last bit of the goo monster thing that was remaining. And she and TOC went up to her office. Um, Now, we don't have the delightful TOC here, so I'm just going to imagine there being a very unimpressed chicken sitting on her desk, perhaps throughout. Um, but yeah. So Sally goes up to her office. She closes the door, and like it's probably still in a relatively alright state, wouldn't you say, Nona?
Yeah,
Because it
like
had
here's the
the
thing. Nothing was
wards.
touched inside the office. It was just the outside that was gooped for a little bit.
Yeah. So, like, in the people who were gooped up, they have either evacuated themselves or been evacuated by emergency services.
Mhm.
So, there isn't any sign of any of the nonsense inside her office, and she just sort of closes the door and she locks it and then just leans against it for a minute and just sighs because like she doesn't actually have any words to describe how she is feeling right now apart from that, but she'll just give herself that one or two big breaths and then she'll go over to her desk and she's going to pick up her phone and make a phone call. And like they've already organized all of the emergency services and all that sort of jazz, but she is now making a call to a certain Ueda Magikai that she knows, who may or may not have been name dropped earlier
Yeah.
as Miss Jewel Pendragon.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, so she's going to make a phone call to Jewel.
Mhm. And there's one robot. There's Here's the thing about Jewel. She makes a lot of automatons, and there is definitely one robot that's only job is to be a phone. And so it does ring for a while, and you hear you hear a Pendragon's residence say who is speaking, and you definitely can tell it's one of the robots.
This is Celeste Alamos. I need to speak with Miss Pendragon at a matter of urgency, please.
Of course, of course, Miss Alamos. Hang on for 1 second, and then there's there's the elevator waiting, phone waiting
Do do
music.
do 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 do. Oh my god, hold music. I
Hold
always
music.
picture Jules robots to be like the robots from Wall-E that are so very specific in their function that
Yes,
it guides their form. So like she has an umbrella robot or a massage robot or whatever it happens to be. Like it's
yes,
just that specific design theory to Jules robot. That's how I always picture it.
yes. It's amazing. Look, Wally's one of my favorite movies when I was growing up. It's so good. I love it.
Oh, likewise. I think I saw that movie in the cinemas like 3 or 4 times.
I say nice, but yeah, say you you the say you, the music stop as the phone adjusts and it's like 1 second, yeah, just put your hand right there so I can sit. Thank ya. Uh, hello. Say hello there, Sally. As hear Jewel pick up the phone.
Jewel, I wish that this call was in better circumstances, but I am in quite significant need of some information from you.
Information? What kind of information?
We have had a situation in the university today, and, well, it involves someone who claims that you are their mother.
Say Jewel is silent for a good long while.
She's going to let it drag just for a second, and then she's just going to keep talking. We have been besieged by a creature that calls itself the Creativity, which seeks knowledge and research, and has precisely zero scruples. And it is putting my staff and my students in distinct amounts of harm's way. It is a parasite that steals memories and can cast illusions quite expertly. And it claims that you failed to destroy it several thousand years ago. So, I wish to know exactly what this being is, so that we may succeed where you failed.
Yeah, that silence continues to drag on. And do you want to make an insight check?
Sure. Uh, it is over the phone, I guess, but that's not too bad. That's a 16.
The silence continues to go on, but you don't think it's malicious as you hear small noises like she's trying to speak, but she's more in a. You get that she is more in the state of shock than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Selli will let it go for just a second or two beyond when it gets awkward,
Mm-hmm.
and before prompting again. Jewel,
Yes, that thing. I really hoped that my gut was wrong, but this is what happens. Even after that fight, I, I just. This was at a time where my Emily, my partner, the one who created me, recently by that time recently died, and I became very distant from the rest of her children and her other partner. And that thing, Quill, I she say you can tell with that original insight she's having a hard time talking right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Was that quill? Like a
Yeah.
feather pen? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. I say I don't know that name. The creativity. That's a new name he has taken up, but his original name was Quill.
Hmm.
The tune in the bottle affectionately nicknamed him.
He did seem to have the appearance of coagulated ink. Yes.
Yes.
No, he claims to be the reason why University City and the university even stand as something of a petri dish.
That sounds about. That sounds about him. My the one who originally say I may be his mother, but it's not direct. Emily's young as a middle say well only daughter is say Olivia. She she originally created say Quill, and I don't know exactly how she did it because she seemed to have no magic of her own. She was a driven young girl, though. She thirsted for knowledge despite not having any magical ability herself. She
Hmm.
really tried back then. She wanted to see if she could become a wizard, at least. But nothing was catching on until she made Quill. Again, I don't know how she did it, but I always had an uneasy feeling about Quill even from the beginning, but mainly because of the lack of knowledge of how he was originally created.
Well, my my understanding of Ueda Magicae is not as complete as yours or Scribbles's. I have read his research, but it hasn't really
Yeah,
isn't something that I can recall quite so easily, and well, I'm sure you would understand that his research is not the be all and end all when it comes to what kind of creatures that you are.
she say,
However, no, go ahead.
yeah, say, you can't see it, but Jewel just say Jewel is nodding. Yeah, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot we don't know about. I don't know about myself, and I could take a few theories now that I've read his paper. Say your husband's paper, but the only one who would exactly know how he was created was Quill himself. Though, even back then, when he was only so little, he caused a lot of strife because, like Olivia, he also thirsts for knowledge, but he took it way too far. He wanted
And
knowledge.
continues to do so.
Yeah, he wanted knowledge no matter what the cost. And that cost was his own creator's life. She died because he used her almost like a puppet, so he could get out of his own bottle.
The first host. Hmm. Jewel, there are similarities that I am drawing from what you have just said and what we've heard from him. He seems to have no particular talent of his own, which may be related to Olivia, was it?
Olivia. I wouldn't say that in particular. He, like Olivia, is very smart, and they were more traditional scientists back then than similar to artificers, but like I said, Olivia couldn't use magic, but Quill could because of what he was. I wouldn't underestimate him. Despite them using others, they're pretty damn smart themselves.
Oh, I don't doubt. And he will have only gotten smarter. He. I am not sure if he has always been this way, Jewel, but he is some manner of. I suppose the best term for it would be an intellect devourer who steals memories and knowledge directly from people's heads.
Yeah, that's something that is probably newer. Like, he probably could do that in some shape or form when he was within a vessel, but stealing memories itself is something of a new development. Not surprising, but still nonetheless disturbing.
When you say that he was released from his bottle, are you speaking literally?
Literally. He could only say, similar to what you know about Uda Magicae, say there, say all of us, most say even now, say he is tied to an object. And back then, it was his bottle, and the bottle could not be opened unless that say he could get into another. It was his, well, lifeline. Inside the bottle say was a concoction from what I say what Olivia told me that had to do with magic, so he could survive. I think you tunes nowadays would akin it to a lava lamp. Is that the right technology I'm thinking of?
Quite possibly, but two two mixtures that do not blend, but float suspended from one another. Yes, I think I can picture it. So he would still tied to something so that his scratches book and your jewel.
Yeah, my orb, or say my crystal, my orb. That's
So he would still have a tether.
yeah. What that tether is, I don't know. I say it could still I say for all intents and purposes, it still could technically be his bottle, though I highly doubt it. Well, there would be an
Selli
irony
is
in
there's
that.
writing this down. Like Jewel could probably hear over the phone just this
Oh
scritch, scritch,
yeah,
scritch, scritch of pen. Mm. Well, that will be the way to destroy him then. Is to find his tether.
yeah, but even then, depending on how strong he's gotten, even with the tether destroyed, you would have to make sure that nothing escapes. That was my folly. I thought it destroyed his original bottle, And I did technically destroy his original bottle, but that was not enough. It he was still able to survive for at least long enough to find something else as a temporary tether.
Hmm. Far more than yourself or Scratch, Quill is a parasite. He
Yeah.
has been parading people around in the university like puppets, using their magic and their talents. I have not yet spoken to the one we saved today. I do not know how aware he was of being controlled and in what capacity, whether or not it was simply being influenced or completely
Yeah.
worn. So I do not know the extent of that possession just yet.
I'll be interested to know, say, how much of an extent. When when we first did battle, it was complete control over Olivia, from at least what I could tell. But again, I never met, say, Olivia died at the end of our confrontation, so I never got a chance to ask her how it happened. You know what I mean?
Mm, no, I do. Is there anything else that you can give me, Jewel?
Mm-hmm. One detail. During our confrontations, when Quill was possessing, say, Olivia, she somehow learned, like, or gave her the power to do magic herself in that fight. So there's probably some aspect of whoever he has control over, they can empower their abilities in some way, shape, or form.
Hmm. So for all that he is a devourer, he may be an amplifier.
It looks like it. Only in certain circumstances, at least from what I observed.
Hmm.
Which makes sense. A soul a soul bonded Uda Magicae and their partner share magic between each other. And that is a in certain circumstances can amplify each other's power.
Hmm. I have some concerns.
Rightly so.
Jewel, you know who I follow.
Yeah, I know.
And he used the term not yet. He is looking to be something more than he is.
Unfortunately, I hate to say, that does not surprise me.
Hmm. This has been quite enlightening, Jewel. I'm sorry to have, well, been the bearer of bad news, but thank you.
I really hope that I would never have to talk about him ever again. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with the mess that I left behind.
One way or another, I will not let him put this university and this city at risk anymore. I do not care if he founded it or what his reasons were for it being here. It is full of people, real people. And that is what I care about. So, one way or the other, we will deal with it.
Yeah. Well, if you want some good news at least, or at least some good news, the castle, I know you haven't probably been the most active. Your husband has been doing that for you. But the guests, say, the guests portion of the castle is almost done, but the family living part, is fully done and constructed. I can make up wards and barriers for that portion of the castle. If you want to move in a little bit early, I mean, if you don't mind the construction noise, I can protect you here.
I think that might be a good idea for when we just need rest. For I do not know that necessarily simply being out of University City is enough to keep Quill at bay. Wards seem to do the job just fine. My office is currently warded, and he didn't seem to be able to get inside.
Yeah. See, most depending on the type of ward, which sounds like you had a pretty powerful one, should be able to at least ward him off.
Well, good. Yes. If you could facilitate that, please, Jewel, I will make sure that Scribbles, Scratch, and Marigold all are aware of the situation, and, well, it may not be for a day or two yet, as I still have a lot of work to do in regards to this whole mess, but it would be nice to have a restful night's sleep in another day or so. Please.
I'll make sure that the castle's ready at least your rooms are ready by tonight. It won't be anything fancy, but I'll make sure you'll have somewhere to sleep.
Thank you. I am expecting some more visitors in my office just shortly, so I will let you go, and we will speak directly.
All right. You take care of yourself.
You as well. Quick!
Hee.
And Selli sort of looks at her notes, and then she just puts down her pen and puts her head in her hands. Oh dear. Well, fortunately, breaking things is something we know plenty of people who are good at. Alright. She's just sort of having a think, pondering all of the spells that she knows. Contagion wouldn't help, but gosh, would she like to use it on this guy?
Yeah. Good idea. Unfortunately, he is a bit too big.
Oh dear. That's fine. Okay, well, she is going to just be sitting there and basically just having a little bit of quiet time until she has her next set of visitors to speak to.
And almost right on the dot of an hour, you do hear soft knocking.
I think she locked it when she came in, so she will have to get up and unlock it and open it.
There's probably a moment on whether the door is being opened or not, but if she ain't gonna open it, it opens itself to reveal, quote, Jesse, and quote, is a clank.
She is going to sort of sit back in her chair at her desk, and she's not even going to say anything. She's just going to motion to these chairs that are on the other side.
Yeah, say, both of them, say at least Azura gives a little nod and closes the door behind them and goes to the seats. And say, you definitely can tell who's the who's the one who's much better at deception because
The rogue.
the rogue is much better at deception as usual, as Clank is doing his damn best. But he's a little kobold, and
Mm.
he's a bit shaking. And Azura sits down prim and proper as Clank sits beside her, and Jesse offers the first word. Now that we're in this meeting, would it be would it be amendable to you that we take off our mask and reveal our true selves?
Sally sort of leans back in her chair a little bit, and she has her arms folded across her chest, and she just goes, I think that would be preferred, Captain Azura.
Uh, I'm guessing the detective has already deduced some stuff out. As Azura goes up to her neck to the necklace that she has, and it definitely is a magical necklace, as almost similar to like a glamour weave. As her outfit and her appearance changes to to the one that I have shown you all before in the chat, and I have it in my video right now. Because
Oh,
I
very
love that
nice,
art.
very nice.
Semi is a great artist, and they did an amazing job with Azura.
Oh dear. Now, both of these are real kind. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, both of them are real
Azura
kind.
is a tiefling, and Clank is a winged kobold.
Yeah, and Clank looks at her, he's like, and then looks at Selli, looks at her, is like, um, yeah, her name is Azura. My real name is Chad Boot. Do I have to take off my shirt? As he's
You
still
may
wearing his
stay
get up.
dressed, if you prefer.
I I don't feel comfortable taking off my shirt and being shirtless for this conversation, so I'm just gonna keep on the disguise right now, but at least take off the mustache as he takes off the fake mustache.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh golly. Um, she sort of nods and acknowledges that, and then she looks between the two, and then just looks square at Azura because clearly, as the captain, she's the one who knows what the fuck is going on. So,
So,
how about we begin with how you seem to have found yourselves at my university?
mm, where to begin? Probably to begin with how we got to Inkwell in the first place. We we are originally not from this part of the world. Our original area is around the country of and continent of genre, if you have heard of it.
Let's roll a history and find out. Yet again, going, hang on, which character knows what information? Okay, that is not great. Your history is okay, so it's average at least. 10. Is 10 enough?
Oh
Or
yeah,
is it like
ten's
obscure?
enough to at least
Okay.
know of where it is, even though you don't know
Mm-hmm.
any much of the details. But that is like almost halfway across the world.
Yeah. She might know it when she's not horrifically tired and horrifically stressed, but at the moment, she just knows it exists.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so she'll give a little bit of a nod and says, Yes, I am familiar.
To say, Azura gives a nod. Say, we have, say, our, say, territory, you could say, as pirate, say, as pirates usually roamed around there, heading to port, say, usual stuff. Very big culture difference from what I've seen between real kind and Toonkind kind of pirates. But it all started when I found my son, Madden Sapphire, who who while we were out at sea, say appeared, floating in a pod like say thing, more mechanical. I was surprised that he even was able to float, and I took him in, and he was well like you, a toon, which is a rarity around say genre in that part of the world. As you probably know, the farther you get from Inkwell, the more rare tunes become and the knowledge of tunes in general.
Yes, I am well aware of that effect. It has been remarked upon quite often in a lot of literature.
She gives a nod. Yes, I only knew what he was because one of, say, my crewmates, Jimmy Coffet, say, he was a tune himself that was originally enslaved, but I rescued him long ago, and he's been a steadfast friend ever since. He immediately he immediately wanted to adopt, say, Madden. He say, and I was more skeptical. I have always wanted children, but have not been able to have them for reasons. And roll insight, please, or perception,
Sure.
either one.
Can I do both?
You
Just
could
for
do
shits and
both.
giggles? Alright. I'll do insight first. And Persepi. Less good, but that's okay. Significantly less good. Alright, we got a 21 and a 10 for insight and perception.
You know, that's really good that it went out of the way to because you see the slight motion of her hand going near her stomach, and you sort of get you're sort of a mother yourself, and even though say say none of your children are currently biological, you've definitely you say you're say you've definitely dealt with you've been around people who can have children and stuff, and well, you get the sense of feeling that
She's
someone,
infertile.
yeah, not only
Yeah.
infertile, but you also get the tone that it wasn't by choice.
Oh, charming. Cool. Yep. Love that. Love
But
that.
Azura
Okay.
quickly continues on. It's like, I raise Madden, or how he liked to call himself, his little nickname, Mad Lad, say, just with the crew. He was, I think, by at least, he was by tune age, by technicality, a baby, but he looked to be 8 years old, which still stuns me to this day, but that's another matter. He,
Quite common amongst tunes, actually.
again, I come from a place that we hardly knew anything about your kind. It was only when I started raising Mad Lad as my own that I learned more. And it came to a point where, even though he was getting all the love and care that we could get him, things were missing. We are real kind, and we don't know a lot about tunes and their culture, or cultures, it looks like, from my time here. And I thought it would be good to take a small vacation. Well, large vacation because we had to get there, but thank God for the uncanny triangle. As she gives a small smile as he
Let me
say
just roll another history real quick.
I don't think it's called a candy triangle, but there was like this. What I remember when we were map making Inkwell, where there was this one place it is say in the sea near genre that had mysterious magical properties.
So like the Bermuda Triangle, yeah. That's another 10 on that history. So she might have heard of it vaguely, but she has not. She's read a lot. She has read so many things, but some subjects she reads more than others.
Yeah, it's just like definitely weird things like ships teleporting to like places they weren't supposed to or
Yeah, yeah.
totally off track. You don't know how that. You know that. You don't know how she would be able to control where people go or where ships would go, but at the same time, that's not the topic of the day.
No, she doesn't rightly care. Like, yes, that's impressive, but she doesn't care.
And so we made our way to Inkwell, and we first made when we first made port there, everything seemed to be going well. But unknowing to us, when we first made port, we were being watched. I let my guard down, and I was confronted by some shady people. And I knew of the tropes and stories from what Jimmy has told me. However, I didn't really believe them at first. So when cloaked shady people came threatening to take my child, or at least bargaining to take him off my hand, let's just say I did not take too kindly to that. And
Hmm.
on our way escaping, we were ambushed. And, well, our ship was attacked. And I had to make a choice. I had to say, and of course, I took it. I made sure my son was safe. I made sure that he got to land through my invention. And Chad pops up. We have teleporty thingies for stuff like this, but unfortunately, he was the only one to cross through before everything blew up. As you see her rubbing her, even though she had changed like her appearance, she still has the prosthetic arm and leg.
Mm-hmm. Right. Were there any casualties?
Thankfully, no. I got the worst of it with losing an arm and a leg.
Hmm.
However, that's when we started investigating about this, started revealing the truth. We already knew somewhat of it, but not the full extension until more recently. There was always something up with my son. We know now that he has two souls inside of him because of what.
That is going to make her blink in surprise.
Yes,
She didn't know that previously.
Crystal, I think her name was, would be able to tell you more about it. She was the
Hmm.
one who decided to actually run some blood tests or ink tests. I don't know exactly what to call them, but tests nonetheless. And she learned some very interesting things, which makes sense in hindsight now with what we know, though Lynn has already gathered some information about it. Though I'm not very sure if Crystal has made the connection just yet. But that's besides the point. What you
Yes.
may not.
The involvement of Dr. Everlight and Detective Stagehand is distinctly beside the point.
Yes.
I am very interested in information about the creativity.
Yes, I was getting to that. What you may not know, that the creativity is a code name for the admins of an order. An order that they call the Order of the Sanguine Ink. Their motives seem to be creating a new form of being, a perfect being, as what I've heard the leader has said. I say craft.
Craft.
Though he likes to go, if I remember correctly, by Father Craft. But there
Selli
is
is just making notes.
she not say she nods. It is a lot, to say the least. I say we've been trying to track them down and find out as much as we could on our own, which is quite a lot, despite them being very secretive.
Hmm. And how did this bring you to getting into with the university under these ruses?
We knew the creativity was using the city for his for part of the group's plans. We figured out that the main way he got a lot of his information was through the university. Hence why Chad, as she looked at him, we decided to have him go as a professor. Yeah, I was out of everyone besides literally Jimmy. I am the kind of most tune like as he does air quotes with his claws. So, me being a crazy pyromaniac who loves science, we thought that may fit well with the toonish aspect of the university that worked. The original Umbra brought me in, though I quickly though upon realizing that the book thing, controlling me, I had to distance myself from a lot of the information. I don't know a lot of this information that they were able to get because we gotta keep secret, and I can't be known because we're supposed to be dead. That was a part of the thing, and yeah, it's just we only got this so much. We only got this far because the order thinks we're dead. And Azura smiles. Yes. And Chad was able to learn a good amount of things. However, my involvement started happening. We decided to ramp up stuff here because of one of the other admins. The one they say, they call him the wolf, but His code name is called the Cancellation. He was admitted as the Blood Hunter head of. He was admitted as the Blood Hunter head.
Selli had come to that conclusion like a couple of seconds before she said that, and she didn't even have enough time to just put a hand to the metaphorical bridge of her nose. It's just like, oh my god. So she's just sort of staring at her notebook. And Azura and Chad can just see her sort of draw in a breath and then let it out and then turn the page. And then glance back up at you as if to go, continue.
So, we think that he hadn't been able to do much with his time here. Thankfully. In all actuality, things could have been much worse. These are the tactics that they do: infiltrate, gain information, and use this and abuse the system. Again, they work mainly with themselves. They don't connect. They don't connect with others. Villains, I think that would be the correct term. Willingly, they come to you. You don't come to them. Which makes sense when their main goal is to create beings that are so-called perfect, and I only can assume that they have worse ideas, maybe even an army, if stories have any leeway here, which they do. That's my running theory.
I see. In this order, do you know whether or not they are a varied order, or if they are more real or more toon, or
I don't know what
what
you
are we
call
looking
them
at?
anymore. The admins themselves are a mixture of toon and real kind. Have you heard of the creation stories of, is it Inkwell?
There are countless creation myths in Ankwell.
I feel like you would know this one in particular. The ones with the pillars, erasure, inspiration, potential. They say that there's a truth in every legend. Apparently, their goal is to bring out these attributes through science. And at least they partially succeeded.
Then it seems as though this Order of the Sanguine Ink and the creativity which they seem to hold in such high esteem both woefully miss the point. Is there any other information that you wish to impart upon me at this time?
There is, but I need to go to the restroom really quickly.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Oh, man. God damn it. Why do I have more than one character involved in this shit? Largely none of this information is new to me. Oh boy. Uh, the cancellation. Jesus. That sure is one hell of a moniker. Yes, yes, Candle, that is exactly right. It's like, oh, we're going to protect this child who's involved by not sharing their identity. And I'm just sitting here going, well, here's the lad. Order of the Sanguine Ink. Why does that ring a bell? Why does that ring? Ring-a-ding-ding. Oh, that's why. From the blood test FPS, yeah. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Damn it. This is the hardest part, guys. For anyone out there wanting to have more than one character in the same storyline, the hardest part is making sure that what one character knows stays over there. What the other character knows stays over there. Because Chifley knows a lot of this stuff. Because Mad Lad and Alexander told him. Like, obviously not in context to fucking Goo Monster guy, because they don't know about him, but all this stuff from the pirates.
Hehe. There's a lot of stuff from the pirates.
Yep. I mean, there's little bits of. I was just saying to Candle, there's little bits of nuance here that are like is news to me, but the broad strokes of it, I'm like, yep, Whis knew that.
Yep. Hehe. Also, I'm glad you made the connection. Crystal of Sanguine. That was on purpose.
Oh dear, oh dear. Selli is just sitting here going, oh, okay, cool. Quill formed a cult. Love that. Alright. So.
Anyways, yes. Information. Azura continues on. We know right now that there are at least, say, 5 other, say, well, new, say, admins that are going about. Some of them are
5
here.
total, or 5 in addition to the ones you've already mentioned?
Say, 5 total. Say, though I think there may be a 6 that may be hiding.
Says Kraft, the wolf. Who else?
Of course, the creativity, but then they call him, they call him, what do they call him again? The potential, I think. He is one that is always on the move. He has a ship that he uses to move cargo from Inkwell to their base, or at least their true base. Unfortunately, we've tried to track him down, but that has been harder than we realized. He never does the same route twice, and we haven't tracked down where their original main base is. Then there are others that, well, at least we know where the location is. There is Migo Yet. She goes by the Abstract. She's one of the scientists similar to the Creativity, but she, even though we know where she is, unfortunately because of the particular location, the exact whereabouts of her laboratory are unknown.
What locations can you give me?
I need to go through my notes one again. Da, 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 da. There it is. It's a location. It's a Migo's yes location, or at least her lab is either near or in a place that's about 30-40 miles outside of Toontown. It's called the Bog of Bewilderment.
Doody doo. Roll me a history. Do you know anything about that? That's better. That's not average. What's your history? Oh yeah. Cool. That's the wrong that. Okay. 30-20. Alright. Bog of Bewilder. It is too late at night for me to spell mint. There we go. Alright. Yeah, well. Less than 100 miles out of Toontown, where she lives. Cool.
A fort,
Great.
which the swamp there, or I should say bog, has certain properties that gel well with her abilities. Which, even though she is technically the weakest of the admins, she also can warp reality. Minorly.
Charming.
Hence why a bug that has to do with the warping of time goes well with her. Though we haven't gone close enough to check it out ourselves. Unfortunately, from what we have researched, it's too much of a risk.
I see.
Though we do know the exact location of another one of their adamants, Madame LeBeau. She runs a winery. She runs a winery near outside one of the cities. It's actually near the it's near the border of actually the UPA. She what she has to do with the organizations, we're still unsure. The only closest thing that we got is a processing plant. Her code name is the Auditory.
Selli is just sort of giving another, like a very short sigh. It's like, really? You're just wholesale ripping them off.
Yeah, she nods like, I did not choose the names. They obviously were very much laying into the pillars.
Well, from what I know of the gods, they do not take particularly kindly to things stepping on their territory, including their names. When
Yes.
you say it was near the UPA border, do you mean near Enqualand, where it meets the Pixar Protectorate?
We think it's
Or
near the, say, we think so, yes. If it's the winery that we have located, it's near Inkwell Land, but it's more in the Pixar Protectorate than the UPA border.
Pixar? Right. Well, that's all very fascinating, isn't it?
Yes. But those two locations are the only concrete answers that we know. We know there's one more, say, there's one more admin. They call him the Leaden. We don't know his true name, but apparently he is on the main, say, in the main base, so that may be, say, it doesn't really matter right now what his real name is.
Mm, perhaps not. Well, Captain, I suppose from here the question is, what your goals are moving forward?
She takes in a deep breath and sighs. We originally, say, we originally were trying to get information on, say, on all the admins themselves. I was, say, starting with the creativity, with it being the biggest, and well, it's their version of the library, a library with the creativity. He holds all of their knowledge, and as they say, knowledge is power.
She's going to hold up a hand. Wait, I think I've misunderstood. Are you saying the creativity is an admin?
Yes,
Because you have given me 7 names.
yes. Father Kraft himself is the leader. He is the one who started all this.
So, Father Craft, the wolf, the creativity, the potential, the abstract, this winery owner, and the leaden. 7 admins.
Actually, I take the back. It's the material for the leaden. I'm sorry. I had the names right next to each other, and I'm like,
Okay.
shoot.
The material.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's
And then
retcon
the
that, so that's fine.
capability for the potential is to say I have them right next to each other because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna forget which pillar lines up which name, so I put them right next to each other, and then I become confused myself because it's early in the morning.
That's fine. So there are 7 admins for the pillars.
Also, the perception for the for the auditory. But anyways, please continue on. I will write this down for people later.
Yeah, that would be swell. Yeah, she's sort of looking at her notes and she's tapping her pen against the paper a little bit. A slightly different organizational structure to what I was expecting, but at the same time, perhaps it still fits.
As for my plans going forward, I think it's now that I say, though this is not how I wanted to reveal ourselves, I feel like this is more the time than ever to be in an alliance in going forward and taking down this organization. Though I fully understand if you wish to let it just stop at the creativity for you in particular. You are the you are well leading this university, and even after the creativity is gone, there'll be a lot of damage to heal after this for the city.
I will have my work cut out for me, yes. Fortunately, Anquel is not built by those who stand alone. I have many allies who may be better suited to getting to the bottom of the entire order. For the time being, the creativity is my concern. But there is truth in it that the others do pose continued threats, even should we kill him.
Yes. I will be honest in saying I do not know what the group will do once the creativity is dealt with. But there will most likely consequences nonetheless.
What of your son, Captain Azura?
My son. We all been. I am not sure if I should reveal myself to him, despite wanting to work together. The reason why he was left alone in the first place was because she's quiet. When we first started hearing of the organization, we were worried. We were worried that they would try to capture him as they did before. And so we started looking for him right away. But by the time we found him, he had formed his own little family here in Inkwell. Strange one, but Jimmy says that's not too common to have strange families. And
it's quite common. Toons are very, very prone to pack bonding.
I could see. And by the time we got him, we sort of realized that he was almost safe where he was. He was hidden in plain sight. There are many children like him. Technically, he's always my special boy. She gives a small chuckle. And we have kept him in the dark. And though we've watched over him, she becomes quiet again, and you would know this right away because you are a mother herself, as you see the captain facade slip off for a second. He's grown so much here, more than I ever would have thought. I wanted to bring him here to connect with his heritage, and he's grown so much just by being here. He's become so strong. He's learned so much. He's gained so many new friends. I would never imagine him to be a talented gunslinger like he is now, or he having his own little, bug buddy, as a little pet and partner. I would never guess he would become strong enough to help defeat a young blue dragon. I'm so proud of him. And I know he's gonna be okay. It's just she put you could definitely tell the moment she puts back on the mask. I think as of right now, this is the way it probably needs to be. I don't like saying it, but if the Order of the Sandwing Eek would probably say would probably try to get information out of him if they already got their hands on him. And if he knows that we're alive, they would know or figure it out. And our cover and our secrecy could easily be disabled, and our connections are link into getting information from them would be severed, and that could possibly be detrimental.
I can understand the sentiment, Captain. Well, she sort of puts down her pen and sits up straighter and just folds her hands on her desktop. For the time being, I am choosing to believe you. You will notice I haven't engaged any magical protections against trickery, and I do sorely hope that such faith has been misguided. And she's just sort of giving you both a look. It's like, you damn well better not have lied to me.
She not say Captain Oz. The only lie to you were of our identities. Everything else we've said is true.
This being the case, it would be suspicious for you both to depart the university at this stage. I highly recommend that you go very few places, if any, unaccompanied. But we must also be careful, for I am unsure if you are aware of creativity's abilities, in so many words.
I know. I only know what he did something to Amos, though I wanted to ask you a bit of the details.
The creativity is a parasite and will take over a host and control them.
So that's how he does it. We knew he was been able to influence different parts of the city, though we didn't know exactly how. Now we have our answer.
The trick is finding the heart of it and destroying it, and ensuring no Skerrick survives. So, while you may not necessarily consider yourselves fired from my staff just yet, I urge you to take utmost caution, because this thing steals memories.
Yes, we have heard of that power, but again, we did not know exactly how they did it. But now with the information you've given us, it now makes total sense of how he does it. Though I kind of like to intervene, like, I know you don't trust us or anything, but I do actually kind of like being a professor, and once this is all over with, do you think I could still keep my job?
She is gonna roll an intimidation because I like doing that. It's the definitely not going to be above a 30. But he's already scared of her, so that's fine. I love this shit. It's so funny.
Look, I love this kobold.
Alright, that is a 19. So she doesn't move. Her eye just sort of snaps to him. And she's just sort of glaring at him. And
Yeah.
she just, after a minute, just goes, "We will see."
Right, yeah, totally makes sense. Like, too soon, too soon, too soon, as he, like, slinks down in his chair as Azura gives a small sigh. As she knows this kobold. She's lived with this kobold for a long time, and just like, yep, that's Chad.
Oh golly. Oh goodness, golly gosh. Alright.
However, I do have one request.
And what might that be?
I need to see the wolf. Or at least be there when the detective interrogates him.
I will leave that to Detective Stagehand. I will let her know of your request. I'm sure she will approach you in due time.
You will know this is a delicate situation. Not sure if Crystal gave you the full details, but technically, James Heineken, or as he calls himself, or his technical name is Nathan Summers, is the biological father of my son. And I do not trust him. Not yet. Though after his capture, I'm very interested to see his side of the story.
Stories often have more than just two sides. They are not coins, but they are dice. As I said, I will expect the detective to ask her own questions.
I know of the detective. Even in the relatively short time we have been here. I know her reputation. She is young, like me, but also very talented. I know of all the cases that she's been through, and I trust her. However, from one mother to another, this is not much of a request, as it is a demand. As she's gonna roll an intimidation herself!
Oh, goody! Alright, well, then we'll find out if Selli can dish it out, but whether or not she can take it, I guess.
Alright, let me pull out. Where is.
Because I sure as sugar will be rolling a deception afterwards.
That's a dirty 20!
Okay, alright. Come on, Selli. Come on, Selli! Ah, shit! Oh, can you not be cocked, please? Thank you. Oh. Oh. Oh, gosh, it is too late at night for me to do math. Hold on. Whis save. That is a 19! Okay, deception time. Come on. That is a nat 20!
Yeah!
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Alright, cool. Alright, so, like, she is a little bit intimidated, just a bit, probably because Selli is well aware that should Azura manage to land a hit on her, she'll just wreck her shit.
Mm-hmm.
But she has not moved. She's just sitting there. So she's just like, yep, alright. But she had a demand. Go on.
Yeah, basically what she said before was her demand. It was not much of a request, but a low key demand that
Okay. Yeah, okay. So to be there for the wolf interrogation. Alright, yeah. Sure. Alright. Well, Sally's just gonna keep sitting there. Cool as a cucumber. And she'll just sort of nod. We will see what we can do. I'm sure there will be terms and conditions attached. But that is not my call to make. So you can save your demands for the detective.
Azura gives a slight nod and sort of relaxes her posture. Say a bit. Okay then. Other than that, is there anything else you want to know? I told all that we have been able to gather so far that it seems to be of importance.
I am trying to brain.
That's fine.
I don't know if I have anything else. I covered that. I covered that. That's fine. Okay. I think Selli is going to. She's going to sort of sit back in her chair a little bit and just go. I believe that will be all for now. Should we have additional questions for you, I will ask you to answer them honestly. Wards will be set up to avoid the creativity having more of a say.
And if we come up with any new information, we'll make sure to tell you.
I would appreciate that. Your cooperation is more useful than us being adversaries.
Yes. An alliance will be beneficial to both of us going forward. And I hope this is a better step forward in our working relationship.
That will be all then.
She gives a nod and stands up and touches the necklace around her neck, and she changes back into her disguise. And Chad immediately puts on his little mustache.
Oh dear. Selli is not going to get up. She's going to let them see themselves out.
And they do. They walk out silently together and close the door behind them.
Selli will wait for a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 maybe, just sitting there in silence, glancing over her notes that she's been taking before she'll get up from her desk and give her emotional support chicken a pat. And then she'll go over to one of her bookshelves and pull a book from the shelf and turn it over in her hands and just push a small button on it with a click to turn the recorder off.
That's fair. That is fair.
And then she'll go back to her desk and sigh. And I don't have anything else beyond that, do you?
Make a history check really quickly as Selli looks at her notes.
Alright. Please, Selli. I know you've had a day. Okay, that is probably the best history roll you've rolled all night. And your history is pretty good. So that is a 22.
With a 22, you look over your notes and you look over the admins and their code names for the different pillars, and you notice something.
Uh-huh.
Technically, there are 7 pillars. However, there are only 6 admins. One is they don't have. They're missing one admin. They're missing the incarnation.
Hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Huh. Shit. Well, she was just gonna write that at the bottom of her notes, circle it, missing admin underneath. And she's gonna take those pages out of her notebook and she's going to put them inside the book recorder that Lynn gave her to record this conversation with, so that her notes and the audio recording are in the same chunk. And then she's gonna put it into her hammer space for when she catches up with Lynn later.
Yay!
Selli needs a large glass of wine and possibly some chocolate.
And a giant hug from Scribbles.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely so. I think that's probably what she's going to do next. Is just sort of take another couple of minutes in quiet, maybe put TOC on her lap and just hold the chicken.
Yeah.
And then she might just call Scribbles' phone, like, please come to my office. I need hugs.
I just imagine that it's right after what happened with right after what happened with the museum, and Scribbles picks up the phone and he's like, Selli, you will not believe the day I have had.
Oh, dear, dear. All right. Well, this was illuminating.
Yes.
Fascinatingly illuminating.
He.
He who, etc.
Etc.
Oh dear.
This has
Thank
been.
you very much for playing so early in the morning, Nona.
No, you're fine. I have very much enjoyed this. I love this has been an amazing FPS. I love it.
Sometimes a good lore dump is good.
Yes. Lord Up is good.
Love it.
Hee
All
hee.
right. I'm gonna go to bed, fam. Have a good time zone.
Have a good time, so bye.
Bye.